Hi, I'm Eric Masterson. I grew up in Ireland, and that was where I first discovered the magic of birds. I traveled the world long before I ever left Dublin. I grew up in a pretty gritty part of the country. Dublin's a gritty town. I can remember in May, common swifts. I remember vividly common swifts would appear outside my bedroom window. And I'd go to my globe. I had an inflatable globe, and I would get my field guide, and I would learn that they would spend the winter in the jungles of Africa, the savannas of Africa, and here they were outside my bedroom window. I remember the wheat ears that would pass through on their way to Greenland. I would go with them, at least my mind would go with them, armed with just a field guide, an inflatable globe, and my child's imagination. So later I would emigrate from Ireland to the US myself. My wife and I moved to southwest New Hampshire. But the birds didn't come with us, obviously. Europe's birds migrate north-south, as do North America's birds, and so I had to learn a whole new cast of characters. But the journeys are just as remarkable. I was on a boat out in the Gulf of Maine, 80 miles offshore, and a flock of 70 golden plovers flew over the bow of the boat. And I watched them for maybe, I couldn't have been more than 2 minutes. And they came into my field of view from the left, and they exited my field of view to the right. And I know these birds. I had read up on their life history. They travel out over the Atlantic non-stop in one continuous flight until they reach land in South America. I was just blown away. I was watching 2 minutes of what has to be one of the most incredible journeys in the world. And it's like a Rorschach test. I think some people might just see a flock of birds, and I felt like I was looking at 2 minutes of just one of the most incredible journeys imaginable. But more often than not, we don't get to see the journey like the golden plovers. We just see its aftermath. I'll be standing at my kitchen window with my coffee in the morning, and I'll look out and I'll see the first aureole of the spring, May 13th, for instance. And I know it wasn't here on May 12th, but it's here on May 13th. And so what I'm seeing is the arrival, and I'm missing this incredible journey that came before that. It's like, I think of visiting Portland, Oregon, to experience the Lewis and Clark expedition. You just can't do it that way. But the real mystery of it is most birds don't travel during the day. Most of them migrate at night to avoid hawks, to use the stars as navigation. Occasionally, on a really busy night, if you use a telescope, you can see one flying across the face of the moon. On good nights, migration will even show up on Doppler radar, but really you don't get to see it, and so you have to learn to see with your ears. On really active nights, step outside your house and cup your hands to your ears and put your face to the skies, and you can hear them as they pass overhead, calling to each other. Scientists don't really know why they do this. Perhaps it's to help them avoid mid-air collisions, like some sort of air traffic control for birds. My yard in New Hampshire is 3 acres of pretty ordinary forest, and yet I've recorded more than 150 species of birds. Really quite incredible. Many of them just spectrograms in the night, and a spectrogram is a visual representation of the bird's call note, like sheet music. I have a collection of these spectrograms. It's honestly like a guest book of these visitors that come to my yard. They don't touch down, they just fly over. Nighttime is a time for dreaming, and as I lay asleep in bed and my recorder is on throughout the night, these birds, hundreds, thousands, millions of them across the continent, passing south, over my house, over your house, and they're traveling thousands of miles to faraway lands using the stars as a guide. I wish I had the imagination to dream such an incredible dream. And then I check my voicemails in the morning, and I hear these call notes left by these international travelers. And that dream is real.